So I was notified this morning that my team had made a pretty significant mistake. And in this moment, I think it was an opportunity for us to really grow as a team. And I know it sounds cheesy, but I want to explain some leadership principles here and also what I believe is the best way to view these kinds of situations in a way that is growthful for everyone involved. All right, so my team made a mistake, and my response is going to really impact the future of our organization from just how I react to one mistake. So, what the team had done was they had a very good intent that they were going to improve something, and so they put all this thought and effort into improving this thing. Yet at the end of the day, it resulted in a mistake. And what you have to understand, and that I kind of reminded myself to understand, was what kinds of behaviors are we insisting upon? What kind of behaviors are we rewarding versus what kind of behaviors are we punishing? I don't believe that we should go into the realm of punishing bad behaviors or mistakes. I think we should work in the realm of rewarding good mistakes. So, two very different philosophies here. One, the one of punishment and making sure people are in check and management, is the work of people like Jack Welch, who was very famous for every quarter or so, he would take a look at the bottom 10% of underperforming people and he would just cut them out from the organization and then rehire them next quarter, see who's underperforming or at the bottom 10%, cut them out and repeat. And what that does is it actually, I think, ruins morale. It ruins people's feelings of safety, feeling that they can take risks and they can take initiative. And so what it does is it creates very obedient but scared people. And if we want to move into the realm of having a team who you don't have to micromanage, who is taking initiatives, who is taking risks, then they need to know that they're working in an organization that doesn't punish mistakes, because mistakes are inevitable. We are a byproduct of millions of years of just genetic mistakes until we get to something that is a little bit better. And so punishing mistakes, I think, is the surest way to stop any progress, to make the individual so fearful of making another mistake that all they will do is follow orders and absolve themselves of any sort of blame by saying, oh, it was in the handbook to be done this way. And any sort of organization that looks to grow, I don't think can afford to do that. And as an owner, if you seek to liberate your time so you can focus on bigger and better things, then I think you also need to cultivate an environment where people are willing to take risks and so on. All right, so the opposite of that, of punishment, is to reward the good behaviors, which was to acknowledge that they were taking initiative, that their interests and their motivations were to help the client and to help the project. So acknowledging that and understanding that if we can acknowledge that and help my team go out and try more things, create more mistakes, learn from those. One of my team members actually just got back to me and said, hey, this is what actually I learned from this experience. I didn't even ask them to do that. But if we can keep them in that mindset where they're not afraid that their job's on the line because of their performance, let's say, because the intent was still good, then we can cultivate a culture that is willing to take more accountability. So one thing I try to do is I try to take ownership of as many things as possible. If my team screws up, it's going to be on me when it's with the client or whoever is involved. And when I take ownership of it, not only does it help me to go back and work with the team to figure out what can be done better, but the team sees that and they also take more accountability. They also take more ownership of their mistakes as well. So it becomes really a trickle-down effect where the team members are looking to the leader to see what are they doing. Not everyone agreed with John F. Kennedy. He was a very popular president, but a lot of people disagreed with him. But back in the day, everyone used to wear fedoras. And one of the reasons that became out of fashion was simply Kennedy never wore a hat. And so that happens at the micro organization level too. The people look to the leader and you set the cadence, you set the culture of what your organization is going to look like. If you show up as a leader who is punishing mistakes, making sure that anyone who tries something and fails will be punished, then you're gonna create a system and a culture that is not going to try new things. It's not going to be innovating or taking risks or even taking accountability and ownership. Whereas on the other hand, if you're rewarding the behaviors that you want to see, you're rewarding initiative, you're rewarding people trying to improve something, and of course they're going to make mistakes once in a while. But by doing so, the paradox is also they learn more. And as the experience of learning more, taking more accountability, going out of their way to understand what is going on and the nuances, paradoxically it creates less mistakes in the future. That now it's not just a handbook that they're relying on, it's you're growing and helping people develop themselves. And I think that is critical in an organization. So if you're looking to grow, the definition of organizational growth is an increase in complexity or an increase in size. If you seek to get bigger and more complex, then you're going to have team members who are going to be able to support you in that complexity. And if you go the other path of management, then your team is only going to be able to grow as fast and as large as you grow, which as individuals, we really can't do much by ourselves. So help cultivate the team, create an environment where people feel safe, they don't feel like mistakes are the issue, where they should feel like not trying is the issue, because we are rewarding behaviors we want to see, and I think that's going to make all the difference moving forward in the long run. Hope this video was helpful. Hope it made you think a little bit differently. If you like this video, check out some of my others, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.